Good morning, everyone. And let me put my headphones so that I can hear also myself. Excellent. And let also start the chat. That takes forever each time. Here, my channel. Good morning. Okay, so I place chat somewhere in here so that I have a screen completely free, and let me open 3ds Max. So I'm ready to listen to all of your questions. If you have questions, if you want to upload files that I have to open, that good morning. If you want to, as I said, upload files, ask me things, send me screenshots, send me pictures of error messages, or I mean, today is the day you can ask me anything, and I will try to help you as far as I know answers to your questions. Okay, so ask me. No questions? Really? Like this? That's it? Perfect. Okay. So, come on. If you have, for example, if you have made something about your presentation, even if it is not finished, and you just want me to have a quick look
Okay, let's see. I need to rewatch lighting video, and I know you addressed this. But maybe the quick answer can happen. Of course, it happens here. I try to render my Rubik's Cube furniture for portfolio, and it gets lost in a blinding white wall. Can I ask you something? That is, do you mind send me or upload that file so that I can open and all of you can see which are things that I will do to fix your file? Perfect. So upload it in one of your into your folder, and then once that is done, let me know. So Deborah asks, we will have to present or just upload? No, because I gave you 1 week extension and you have time till next Wednesday to upload. It is just upload. So you have to make your PDF presentation and upload it to the same folder where you have uploaded your homeworks. Can't upload the file. Let me check. So let me open Google Drive. Go 3D CAD. Perfect. Okay. So let me check. Your folder should be something called Wednesday, and there should be written Wednesday 11 to 1. So this one, 3ds homework Wednesday 11 to 1. Let's see. Share. Okay. No, the link is open. The link works, so check it. Look, I have pasted right now the link also on the chat, so that if you click the link that I have, if you click the link that I have placed into the chat, left click, open that link, and then drag and drop your files there. Let me know now if you receive error messages. So if this happens, I will try to understand why. So let's read the first question. Deborah asks, I had a problem cause suddenly my 3ds started shutting down with no messages, but after sending you the message, it's starting working better than before for now. Can you see? Because the only answer here is that I have a positive vibe. So if 3ds Max knows that you are contacting me, he will feel better and he will start working. Believe it or not, sometimes simply you use 3ds Max, let's say maybe without saving your files for a long time, or sometimes you simply should turn off your computer. Wait a second, wait 5 to 10 minutes so that the memory is also deleted and refreshed. Then you turn on the laptop, so not even restarting, it is really. And I mean, a few years ago it was even easier, because a very basic way to refresh the memory and empty the RAM was to turn off the laptop, remove the battery for 10 minutes, then put the battery again and turn on the laptop again. Now with built-in batteries, this is basically impossible. But if you turn off your laptop, you wait an hour, let's say, and then you turn it on again, believe it or not, the computer will be faster because it has the memory that is completely empty. So in the meantime, for example, Peng, were you able to upload files in the folder, or you still have problems? Let me know, because I can see that you have old files, and after April the 2nd you haven't uploaded anything else. So let me know if you can upload your file then. So wait a second, because this question is pretty interesting. That is, I have a question. I want to do the Kinder Bueno chocolate. How to do the chocolate dressing on the top? First of all, let me open Kinder Bueno. Kinder Bueno. Kinder Bueno. Okay, so first of all, I don't know if you can see it. This is the advertising of the Kinder Bueno. I mean, just for you to know, this is a rendering. This is not real at all. This is 100% a rendering. And for dressing, you mean these stripes here? Am I right? You want to know how these kind of chocolate, dark brown chocolate lines are made? Is this the question? Let's see. Let's wait a second for a classmate to answer. Perfect. I don't know why you retired the message, but I've read yes. So let's see how to do it. It is because you changed your name. I got it. You know, actually I knew who you were because I have simply I have copied your name, and just for you to know, look, if you go to Google Translate, I was curious, and see what I've done, because I went there, I typed these, yes, oops, and it appears the name, so I knew it was you. Anyway, let's see this. To make these things in 3ds Max is not that hard. First, I will do my Kinder Bueno, and I will make it very simple. So, I make a box, I go to Edged Faces, I add Edit Poly, that is here, and I will select all these edges because I want to add separations. So I will do this. Look, I will click connect, I want, there are 4 parts. Okay, and then let's continue. Ami says, dang, Marco, watching this makes me sad. I hate this is our last day. I'm going to miss this class. No, I don't offer summer classes because during the summer I will be in Sicily in complete retirement, and I mean I technically have only my phone to go to the web, but I have an idea. That is this, because I don't know if I can keep videos online in this channel, that is the school channel. What I'm planning to do is, before leaving, I will basically recreate videos that I have made for my classes, but I will place them in my own YouTube channel. So if you want to check, I will do my best to take these videos in my YouTube channel as well. But just in case, if you are interested, what you can do is you can go to my own channel and okay, so I was saying I will go and I will place my videos in my own channel, that is this one. So if you want to subscribe or stuff like that, you can follow this link, and that is my own channel. I will redo my videos, okay, and I will do my best to make as many videos, okay? So if you want, go here. I mean, like real YouTubers used to say, like, feel free to like and subscribe, but in my channel I will put videos as well, okay? So let's go back to our Kinder Bueno and let's see this. We were here, we were into the edit poly. Then what I will do is simply I will make into polygons, okay, select these top polygons here, make a inset by polygon so that I will have these, okay. I will scale these polygons a bit, okay. I will then move them up. Nah, why not? Maybe more. Okay. So let's see what happens if I apply Turbo Smooth. Probably there are a few things that I have to change, but if I apply Turbo Smooth, no, it is still it is too round. So from here you can see that this is fine, but if I open the original picture, you can see that here things are a little bit different. So what I have to do is I have to keep the top round, but I have instead to add a few. So I have to go to Edit Poly, I go to Edges, and I have to select these edges, and then these. I can, okay, these takes a little. I will add chamfer so that it will be close enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. Okay, this one, and why not, let's select this as well. Perfect. I add a little bit of chamfer. Okay. Okay, then I close Edit Poly, I go back to Turbo Smooth. I mean, that is more fair for a sorry, for a Kinder Bueno. Yes, fair enough. I could just bring these vertices down. Let's see if I've selected them all. Okay. Fantastic. Look at the Kinder Bueno now. That is perfect, isn't it? And in reality, it is just this low poly model with Turbo Smooth. If you also want, you can, to make it perfect, you can also select these and scale them a little bit. 90, okay. These, perfect. These, so they are a bit more pointy. And this one, like that. Okay. This, I mean, look at that. Perfect. So now let's see how to make those shapes that are the dressing, basically. So these elements here, okay? There are multiple, honestly, there are multiple ways to do them. We just need to find something that is very simple to be done. And I will start by making a copy of my object. So I, just in case, because I don't want to destroy my beautiful object here, what I will do is I make a copy, and I make a copy, not an instance, first of all. Okay? So this is first. Second step is finding a way to have those shapes, but not just two shapes. They must also follow the they have to follow the curve of your Kinder Bueno. So what I will do is basically this. In one of my copy, what I will do is I will use this simple tool. That is, first of all, I will apply another Edit Poly, because I want to work on my smoothed surface. And what I will do, basically, is I will start using this tool that is called Quick Slice. So I right click on my object, I click Quick Slice, and I will basically cut elements like this. Okay? By using Quick Slice, you basically cut your object with a plane. So I will make 1, I will make 2, I make 3 here, I will make 1, 2, 3 here, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3 here, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3 here. Okay? After making Quick Slice, what I will do is I go to Edge Selection, and I will see that if I make this step right immediately after using Quick Slice, you will see that your new cut edges are automatically selected. And what I have to do is, once that they are selected, I have to use a tool that we have seen inside Edge that is called Create Shape. So I click Create Shape, I keep it linear, and I will call this shape Dressing. And I click OK. Now, technically, the copy, I don't need it anymore because I haven't destroyed anything. But now I can select the line that I have created, that are these. Okay? So check this. I will select this line. I will simply select vertices of this line, and I will start deleting all my lower vertices. So I will make a very first step in cutting this part of my lines. Then I will randomly, as you may see from the original, I will randomly remove additional vertices because chocolate dressing, some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, like these. Then this one. Then important thing to make it realistic is to make them different and not just cutting them all at the same length. Okay, we have almost done. I will fix same thing from here, then this one, then here. We have almost done. Okay. Beautiful. Look at that. And what I will do is I will now set in this shape. I will go to rendering. I will set enable in renderer, enable in viewport. And by doing this, my shapes will be renderable. Okay? If you see this weird result, it's simply because, look, if I hide these, I can see that by deleting vertices, I still have these segments. It's not a problem. Go to segments and just delete these segments that are connecting so that your lines are open lines. Just delete them all. Okay. And now, sorry, what is here? Because I've just hidden these, I will show again my box. And I saw that it will show you just the point. Okay. This is one method. There is another method that is a little bit more tricky, but this will be good enough. Because another thing that you can do is, and that's pretty weird, but you can set your thickness to your editable spline. You can also then right click, convert your rendered editable spline to editable poly, and if you want, you can also apply Turbo Smooth to make the tip becoming super round. Okay? Now you're done, because you make two materials. One will be brown, light brown, roughness 0.5. The other one will be dark brown, roughness 0.5, because chocolate is a little bit reflective. And then you apply bright brown to this, dark brown to that, and if you simply hide visible edges, no way! Look at that! Yummy, isn't it? I mean, it is so beautiful that I will save this file, because, I mean, it is phenomenal. Kinder bueno. Okay? I know, fantastic, isn't it? It technically is not that hard. I'm not using any particularly complex tool. Just edit poly, and you could do with cut if you don't want to use quick slice. That's the same, but technically is just that. So let's continue reading messages. Like Romina asks, one question if you have time. It's okay to have two renders of the same room from different angle? The answer is yes. Yes. If it is interesting for your project, you can have more views of the same room. But then I would like to know why you have written that other message that says, is someone mailing him? Who? I'm curious. I'm very curious of the message you have written. I'm super curious. And in the meantime, so Romina, you have to tell me why you have written that message. I was offline. Oh. I don't think. No. As far as I know, let me know. But I think I was correctly streaming. don't know. Let me check. Let me check. YouTube Studio. Few seconds. No, this is not the video. So the one that is live right now. Video. I want to see if everything is fine, but so what I was saying, when you say that I went offline, which part? Because I can try to avoid these. Output. Okay. Let me see if now something has changed. Let me see if you can hear me now. I can see myself, and this is a good thing. All good. Perfect. Don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, so let's continue. Let's continue to in reading your questions. So this is how to make the Kinder Bueno, first of all, and this is first thing for today. Second, let's check the Google Drive to see. So Farida says, do you mind checking my presentation? Of course not, but let's see your presentation so that all of your classmates will enjoy this process. So final graphic, Disney, very nice. Pizza Hut, pizza. Oh, look at the cheese. That's very nice. Very nice. Pizza render. Very good. JBL. That is phenomenal. And the Disney. Whoa, look at that. With the castle, Mickey Mouse. This I don't know you call it in English. Very nice. That is fine. That is very interesting. Goofy, exactly. Goofy in English. In Italian, in Italy it is Pluto. I don't know why. Very good. Okay, no, that's fine. For of course, this is for graphic design, and if other students didn't remember, but for graphic design they have to take 3 brands and rewrite their logos with objects related to their brands. So it is perfect, 100% fine. Okay, so really keep it as it is. In the meantime, Very nice. Let's read also previous homeworks, because Amy asked something about exactly her file, that is the Rubik cube. So let's see if she was able to upload it. Should be this one. Yes, so let's download it, save it, perfect, open the folder and open it. File system, okay, she's using inches, okay. Okay, so this is your phenomenal Rubik Cube couch. Okay? Am I right? Perfect. So, let's see. Well, what can be the problem? I go to rendering, I go to exposure control, I click render preview, and first of all I have this problem, that is material that you have applied to the wall, as you may read. No, it's not only that. There are more things. Look, first of all, when I render, I can see this message that says into the material there is something that is not supported. So these, I know that speckle is something into wall material. So first thing that I will do will be, whoa, how many materials? For walls, I will make my own material, and I will double click it, and believe it or not, I will just make roughness 1. So that is just a matte color. I will make it white. That's it. And then I will select my walls, in this case not my but your walls, and I will apply this material to the selection. This is step 1. So let's go back to exposure control, let's go back to render preview, let's see if I still have error messages. Yes. And why? So where else you have used those materials? I'm pretty curious. But check this, because we are here to learn. So look, this should be a picture of what happens into the brain of a person. And for example, you can see this kind of gigantic mess of materials that right now are one on top of each other, okay? And if you make a project that has a lot of materials, this may happen. But now, check this. If you want to make order in your life, at least 3ds Max speaking, what you can easily do is you can just click this button, and if you left click over here, you have these two options called layout vertically, layout horizontally. Okay? If you click one of these two tiny buttons here, what 3ds Max does will be this. It will just place all of your materials in a horizontal row so that you can clearly understand which materials you are using. For example, I can see here. This is a little bit weird that there is a black picture, because it probably means that this picture is not loaded. So if I click and double click in here, let's see. No, this is a black. This is fantastic. No, that was black. That was black. So let's see. Those are Autodesk maps. Where can be? This is bitmap, a material that uses speckle. This is not. No, I have to check it by myself. No. So this. Whoa. Because this is a group. Okay. So look at this material here. The material that has speckles. No. It's okay. So forget about speckles, because we can survive. That is just for bump. But let's render again and go to exposure control, render preview, and let's finish this. So not only we have a small problem with the material, but we can survive. So now what is our second problem? The problem is that in this file there are no lights. So 3ds Max uses a default light. What you should do instead is you should add at least a light source. So let's say I'm using, hoping that dimensions are realistic. I'm just using one single light. Then I go to rendering. I don't like this view. This one. Rendering, exposure control, render preview. Oh, look at that now. So beside the material that I know which one is wrong, but by adding at least one light, and maybe I will increase a little bit the exposure control, click render preview. Perfect. And now I have my file ready for a masterpiece. Okay. Maybe let me tell you, the floor looks a little bit too shiny, but that is my opinion. Floor is a little bit too shiny, and probably there is one more mistake that I can see in this render. That is this. Look, can you see that the floor is super shiny and it is basically reflecting everything like a mirror? That it can be a choice, it's okay. But if my sofa, is my couch, is touching the floor when I make a rendering like this, I should see that these elements, so the foot of the couch and its reflection, they should touch. This rendering suggests me that probably the couch is flying off the floor. Can I check? I mean, I am too good. So if this is the couch and this is the floor, I should move it till it touches the floor. And it looks silly, but when I will render, I will notice immediately now that, not this view, sorry. Stop. If I render this view, can you see what I was talking about? Look at the reflection. Can you see now that original leg and its reflection on the ground are perfectly touching? So this shows me that the couch is on the floor. Okay? If I just want to make a more realistic floor, the only thing that I will do will be I will pick the material of the floor. That should be which one it is. Is it this one? Let me check it again. I said pick this. Okay, yes, it is this one. I double click on this material. I will just add a little bit of roughness. Okay. This is a picture that I have not, so I will, just for me, I will change it with wood because I have not the JPEG that you have used as a custom material. But most important thing, where you see roughness, I won't keep it 0 because it will look too shiny. Just make it 0.3, 0.4, and when I render, reflections should be, now with the texture is too bright, sorry, so forget the texture, let's keep it, it was black almost, but by using roughness 0.4 you can still see reflections on the floor, just reflections are a lot more blurred. Okay, because maybe 0.25 if you really want to show that there is like wax into the floor, but having 0 is a little bit too fake maybe. Okay, and this will help a lot understanding that this is the floor, these are materials, and so on and so on. Okay, are all these corrections clear? Is there anything that you were not getting? Feel free to ask me. No, it looks like everything was fine. I hope, at least. Okay? No, of course. Yeah, you know what I can do? I will. Just because today I feel too good. I feel too good. I shouldn't do stuff like these, but I will re-upload it on the same folder. Okay, so I will quickly, if I find it, should be in my documents, 3ds Max, scenes, here. I'll place it here, I mean, but just for today, we have this kind of discounts, and you can download it from there and pretend that you have fixed it. Okay? Perfect. So, I know it's not for your final. And other questions, other doubts, things that you would like to see, whatever doubt you may have about, I mean, just ask. Feel free to ask. Because today is only, then probably I have something that I want to show you, but it's not super important now. I would like to see if you have other questions like these for now. Let me know. As you can see, like your classmates did also, if you are using 3ds Max for other projects, for other finals, and so on, just ask. So let me see. Let me check the chat. Okay. When Romina asks, when I have a curvy object and try to get one more edge, when I have a curvy object. So first of all, here there are a few things you have to know. In 3ds Max, first of all, so let's make a new one. There are no curvy edges. What it means? Even if you make a cylinder, let's say, that looks curvy, in reality, this is not curvy at all. Because if I show edged faces, you can see that edged faces, all polygons are always flat, and all edges are always straight. So if you use edit poly, let's say, here, and you select these polygons, these edges, sorry, and you apply connect, this edge is flat, it is perfectly straight. Doesn't matter how many of these you create, this will remain perfectly straight. And there are other things that you can do instead. There are these. So, first of all, you could add something called a modifier that is called tessellate. Then you have to, I mean, it looks weird now, I know, don't freak out. You have to click face center, and you have to click polygons instead of or even edges, no, face center. Then you have, because if you click edges, you have to decrease the tension to be 0. But you are adding a lot more vertices. And you can also increase how many of them you want. Okay? And once that you have made these, you can apply, for example, again, edit poly, This is just an example, but then you should select, look, and it takes forever. You should select all these vertices and so those extra vertices that you have created, I hope I have selected them all, and fun fact, I haven't. So let's go to the top and be sure that I'm selecting all these vertices. I've missed that. Now they should be correctly selected. And for example, you should scale them a little bit to add this extra roundness to your shape. This can be one way. But now, if I hide my if I go here and if I hide edged faces, you will see that your cylinder is perfectly round. But this will be, I mean, this will make your object a lot more heavy. While instead, you can do something else that is, and take care because this will probably shock you. You can start from something that is perfectly flat. And maybe you want to make it more complex, like sorry. You want to add a hole. Why not? So you go to ProBoolean. Like this. Then check this magic thing. Look. You apply now tessellate. And again, you make tension 0 so that the overall shape remains the same. You just make a lot of iterations so that your object will start looking like this. Okay? Ready for this? Because this will be fantastic. Then you can apply a modifier. So this works only if your object has a lot of vertices. You can apply a modifier like the one that is called FFD333. When you apply this modifier, you can open it by using this triangle. You will click Control Points, and if you see, these orange points are the points of your FFD modifier, and what you can do to your box is this. And the more polygons you gave by using tessellate, the more precise and the more round the result will be. Or I can select only these edges of my FFD modifier, or I can select just the top and I can make these. Can select these orange vertex only, and I can pull just this thing. Okay, can move it up, and I can start deforming my objects in billions of ways by having this grid outside that will affect my object. Okay? But this works only if your object has a lot of vertices. If you try doing this with an object that has low polygons, it doesn't happen. Or if you see that with your tessellate you need more to make it more round, instead of 3 you go to 4, and the more polygons you have, the more smoothed the result will look like. So when I close edged faces, believe it or not, this starts from a box with another box and ProBoolean, while it has been modified with tessellate and FFV. Okay? Then let's see what Alice asks. Could you please go through the correct setup and steps before making final render camera view? The right render settings. I have some my scenes ready, but I am a bit intimidated by it. Oh, you shouldn't be intimidated. Let's see first of all if I have some 3ds Max files. Let's see, I don't remember who is the student who sent me these. Don't save. So that I can show you this process. Whoa, now I remember. Okay, this is a final project. It's just another class. Okay, so if I go in perspective, I can see that there is, what's that? There is the building, there is here, there is there, there is, I mean, this is also clearly inspired by Le Corbusier. Okay, so what I have to do when I want to make my final renders. What I have to do first is I have to place cameras in places that I think are interesting. So what I will do now, also because this is not my file, I will select all cameras that are already there and I will delete them all. So I will start from a file that is just my finished, I would say more or less finished, because I can see that here the classmate probably, no, this is an open air kitchen with a pool, so no, this is the project. So let's see what I have to do. First of all, I go to create, I go to camera. I personally, this is my choice, I personally don't like target cameras when I'm making architecture rendering, because each time that I move it, I have to remember that I have to move the target and the camera itself, so it will take forever. What I have to do instead is this is my choice. I prefer to use free cameras so that I can quickly move it to where I like it and rotate it. And to make beautiful renders, I should try to keep my camera with its visual axis as horizontal as I can. So I create my free camera. The camera starts always by looking down. So I click rotate, I use angle snap, and I have to, it is visible in this viewport. Now my camera is looking down, but I rotate it exactly 90 degrees so that the camera axis is perfectly horizontal. And this is first. Second, I switch my viewport to this camera, and this is what is viewing right now. There is nothing because the camera is here and the building is there. So what I do next is I have to move the camera, and I have to place my camera inside a space that I think is interesting to be seen. Okay? So, let's see lights. So, lights, illuminate with scene lights. Okay, so that I can see what I'm viewing right now. I will move the camera a little bit more up because it was too close to the ground. In general, the camera shouldn't stay like higher than 130, 140 centimeters from the floor of your level. So not too tall, not too low. And this is what I'm going to see. I can, let's say, place it more on the corner. I will check parameters. This is 13 millimeters. The field of view is higher than 100. I don't like it because it gets too distorted. So I will make the field of view 100 or just use 15 millimeters stock lens so that the perspective is wide enough but not too much. And once that I find a camera with parameters that I like, instead of repeating the process over and over, what I do is just I left click and drag, and by using shift and move, I make another camera and I make an instance so that it will basically quickly follow same parameters. So I make another camera. This will be camera 2. I check my camera 2, and it is perfectly in front of a wall, so I have to move it. It goes in this other room. I rotate it. Very nice. Look at that. And I will move it in a place that I like. In general, I use 2 camera settings only there are. But this is because of me and... Oops, I was moving the wall. This is because I'm pretty picky when I take pictures of my rendering. In general, I use only 2 camera setups. If I find my pen, I will share this little secret with you. That is, if I have a room I place cameras in 2 ways only there are, or I place a camera into the corner of the room watching the opposite corner, and not exactly the opposite corner. I just avoid next corner to be right in the center of my view. But when I make my perspective, I like to have perspective like this, where the corner that my camera is viewing is slightly off the center of my picture. Okay? Or left or right, but I don't like when my when the corner of the room is like now. Can you see this? Right in the center. I don't personally like this effect. I find it a little bit confusing. So in general, I try to rotate the angle of my camera so that I can see the room, but at the same time, if I see my perspective, here is where I have corners and the center of the view is here. Okay? This is first. Second method that I use instead is, this is my room. I like to place the camera exactly in the center of the room, watching exactly the wall that is in front of it. So let's just make a thinner line. And I try to be so precise so that the angle between the wall and the camera is exactly 90 degrees. If I make these, the perspective, the picture that I will obtain will be something like that. A perfect 1-point perspective. Okay? Then, yes, then I will answer Amy question. But this is to finish with the Alice question. So now, when I will set all my phenomenal cameras, the last thing that I will do will be, I have my 6 cameras set. I will, camera by camera, I click camera 1, and then I have to render camera 1, then camera 2, and so on. But I will go to rendering, I will go to render setup, and if my laptop can handle the quality that I want at the end, I will simply set here, where I see the output parameter, what I will do is I will set the output by being 8600 by 8200 pixels in terms of resolution of the picture itself. So I will do that. Here I will write 1600. Here I will write 1200. After this, I go to my ART renderer parameters, and only when I am ready to make my final renderings, and only when I know that I can leave the computer working for a month, I will move this slider, that is the quality, close to high. I will also remove the grain, the noise from my pictures by enabling noise filtering and by bringing this close to 75. Both values can be decreased if your computer starts giving you error messages like you can't render, it freezes, it locks, it shuts down, it overheats, and stuff like that. Okay? But these are camera parameters and final render settings. Okay? Believe it or not, they are just these. Okay, Alice? This is for Alice as well as for all of you, but were those adjustments clear? Let me know. Perfect. I'm so happy. Okay, so let's continue with next question. That is, Amy asks, can you show us again how to make a light panel like a glowing effect on the box? Sure I can. I will just make a new file because this would be too heavy. Reset everything so that we start from scratch. Okay, so now let's make a very basic scene like this. Now let's make something realistic, like let's open a reference picture that we can follow so that you will start understanding where I want to go. Let's say images. Okay, I mean, let's see this thing here. Okay, what we have in here? In here we have a clearly visible example of an object that has a shape that is that black metal part. Then there is a white area that has a glowing surface. In reality, this is made by having, and this is what we're going to do even here, this is made by having an empty black metal box that is laser cut, and there is white perspex, and inside there are lights that are passing through that perspex, are making those letters glowing. In 3ds Max, this is a lot easier to be made, and it happens simply by using an effect that is a material effect that is called self-illumination. So look how it works. Basically, let me really build that simple thing. Look, I will move, but this is very out of scale. Wait a second. So let's make a box. And let's make it like, oh, okay, 400 by 400. Okay. Then let's make another box. 300 centimeters tall. Okay. So now let's put a ceiling. Perfect. And let's put that sign. Now, look here. If I go to standard, I can also see something called text plus as a object. Text plus is, if I left click and drag, it is simply, and I also have to set the height. Okay. Text plus is, an object where if I go to the modify tab, basically I can change the length, that is like the paragraph, change the width of the paragraph, change parameters, so I can change what is written inside. And in my case, I will write Marco is cool. Let's say this is going to be that glowing sign. I will make it bold, because why not? So select and make it bold. And then global parameter, we have the size, tracking, that is the distance between letters, leading if you have multiple written lines. But then there is also a parameter that is called extrude. So basically you can extrude directly this text, and it will become a three-dimensional shape that is driven by a font. Okay? Oh, there is also beveling. That is nice. So that you can basically chamfer immediately all these letters. Very nice. I mean, I like it, but it is not useful at all. So what I will do now is I will simply rotate this text 90 degrees so that it is vertical. I will place it where the sign is. So I will place it like that and like this. So text is a little bit too big, but what I will do instead is I will make these larger. Perfect. I have almost done. Now let's go to materials. I will make two materials. One for the cover. So I will apply these behind. I will double click on the material itself and I will simply make it. It is just metallic, so let's say 0.25 and I will make it black. The other object is the one that has to glow, so I will apply this material to the part that has to glow. That can be whatever, but it has to be a 3D object. Can be a box, can be a cylinder, can be a text, can be whatever. But then check this. I double click on the material itself. The color doesn't really matter right now. What really matters instead is I have to increase the parameter that is called emission. And I will place it, I will put it to 1 now, but it is a little bit too strong. Now I have simply to find the right balance between amount of the emission and the power of light, that is luminance, that is this value here. And I will show you that right now it won't work as we may expect. So I click render and we will see this weird thing that is we have no lights, and due to this reason 3ds Max renders our image with a default light that comes from our shoulders. Basically we don't need that. So especially when you want to make glowing objects, you need to know that you must create at least one extra light. Even if this light, look, can have its intensity set to 0. So technically there is a lamp, but it is turned off if we just want to see the text glowing. So I render again. And this will be the result, that I have my dark projects with the text that is glowing. And if I want, I can simply adjust the luminance of my emission if the emission is too bright or too weak. Okay? Last thing about this, and then I will answer to another question that your classmate asked. But just to show you, because this is too cool. Now my text is white, but I can also do this. Look, I can open my material editor, and I have also downloaded a picture. So look, if I go to texture, exactly, look, I have downloaded this picture here, okay? And I will drag and drop it into my material editor. The text is about 2 meters large, so I double click on the picture, and into width I make it that is like 240 centimeters large, and it will be like 100 centimeters tall. I don't know if these are correct. More or less, because the box is 270, the text is, no, 267. Okay. So 270 even here. So check this, because this will blow your mind. What I want to do is I want to use same exact picture into 2 parameters. So I want to drag a connection between the image and the base color of my object. But because my object is also having emission, and the emission has a color that is white right now, I want also to use same image for the parameter that is called emission color. And if I want to use one picture for multiple parameters, I don't have each time to drag and drop, change, apply. I can just drag another wire into the emission color, so that in this way what I'm telling to 3ds Max is that the same image will manage the base color map and the emission color map. And if I render again, I don't know if I have to adjust the luminance. Oops, I need the UVW map, sorry, to the text. So I will make it UVW map, box, render. Look at that! Now that I'm using a rainbow picture, it will give me a rainbow colored light as well. Okay? Yes? No? Maybe? Let's say yes. Okay? And this applies to whatever object, whatever shape, whatever is the function. I mean, it is like that. So, in the meantime, that I wait for your feedback about this simple thing, let's read another message, because Peng asks, quick question about Corona Render. Why is the render image looks blurry kind of out, or should be or out of focus? Ami, first of all, you're welcome. So let's see this. First of all, you are lucky enough that I have Corona Render. That is actually my main renderer. So I change to Corona Render. And I have a lot of problems now because this file wasn't created for Corona. So what I have to do, I have to change almost everything. So I have to start doing this. Instead of the physical material, I have to make 2 materials. This will be the one that is black, and I will apply it to here. Then I will make also a material for all my other objects, because Corona doesn't like things without material. Then I have to make another, so I can delete this one, can delete this one. I have to make another Corona material, and this material here has to be for my glowing thing. Exactly. So in here is not called emission, it is called self-illumination, but it's the same. So I will set self-illumination, let's say 1. Let's try with 1. And I will do same exact trick. That is, I will apply the map to the color and to the self-illumination as well. Okay, so basically I have just same things, but with another render engine. Because I'm using another render engine, I don't have to change my materials only. I can't even use this light here. There is a 3ds Max light, so I have to delete it, and I have to make a Corona light. Okay? Believe it or not, once that you learn how to use 3ds Max, it doesn't matter which render engine you are going to use, because the way that you have to use them are exactly the same. So, even if this is not a photometric light, but it is a Corona light, it has same parameters. It has intensity, it has color, it has the shape. I mean, it is exactly the same. So if you change it to disk, it automatically becomes a spotlight, and you can change the intensity, and what was called hotspot, look, it's the same. Here it's just called the directionality. But all render engines are all the same, trust me. So now let's render with Corona render, and let's see what happens. So I make a very low intensity, click render, and my render, first of all, is not because I did it, but it is great, and it really shows you how I am, how big is my consideration, and I like the fact that it says Marcus Cool. But if I zoom in, I stop it, but if I zoom into my render, I can see that the render quality starts by being a little bit poor. So what to do is very simple. Let's zoom in so that we see more. When I go to Corona render, there are a very few parameters that I have to adjust in order to make my rendering perfect. And they are these. I have to click Scene. And here I have to set a limit, because the way that Corona works is that it will render your image virtually forever till you say stop. The more time you give Corona render to render, the more sharp the result will be. But because you can't wait forever, you can just give a time limit. In general, giving Corona 1 hour as a limit. Of course, I won't render in 1 hour now, but just by giving it render to 1 hour, that would be perfect. And this is only for your final extra beautiful renderings. Second parameter is, even Corona has denoise to remove the grain for your images, and you have to enable it by going to denoise, and you have to make Corona high quality denoise. And you have to keep numbers as they are, because this 0.65 is basically what we have seen into art render, that is the percentage, so it is 65%. Then we have the quality, the denoise. We increase the resolution as well. So they are same exact steps, just with another render engine. Let's see if we can do more in here. That is, we can click Setup Light Mix, and you click Generate. Then what else? And then we go to Camera, and we set Bloom and Glare. And just to avoid, be sure that the depth of field is not enabled, because that will blur the image. But now, see this. Of course, I won't wait for 1 hour, but I will wait, let's say, 15 seconds. But see what happens. I make my rendering, and I can zoom in, and this would be my resolution, and you can see that the image is going to look fantastic. We can see that we are rendering. Technically, we should wait for 1 hour, but I will wait last 10 seconds probably. And when I will click stop, only when I will click stop, I will discover that Corona will also add the denoise. So let's click stop, and look, you see that now the image is grainy, but I click stop, and now, even if I've clicked stop, Corona has not finished yet. It is denoising the image, and I hope that it doesn't take forever. Probably I've made the mistake by rendering it live stream 1600 by 1200. That was a terrible mistake. Let's see. No, 2 minutes. 37 seconds. Now I like it more. So let's wait 30 seconds, because I will show you something unbelievable. That is, by clicking that thing that is called in Corona Render only. So take care. This will work only if you have Corona Render. By clicking that thing called Light Mixer, what happens will be that after rendering, we were able to adjust our lights. So let's give me this, please hurry up. 16, 15, 14. Let's see what Light Mixer is and what you can do with the Corona Render dialog box. There is something pretty unique. We are almost there. Phew! So, check this. This is my rendering. I can, and this is the Corona Render dialog box. What I can do is, I can go to the post-production, and even when the rendering is done, for example, can you see this number called EV? I can still change the exposure, and I can change the exposure after the rendering is done. Fantastic, isn't it? I can choose, for example, bloom and glare is this. Look, can you see that lights have this beautiful, realistic, glowing edge? This is called bloom and glare. If I uncheck it, it will look just like that. But if I want more realism, bloom and glare has been calculated. And I can also exaggerate bloom and glare intensity. So it will be a little bit fake, but I can exaggerate these effects. I can also check or not the denoise. Look, this is without the denoise, this is with denoise, and I can also increase the amount or decrease the amount of the denoise dynamically to see which will be better effect. Also, now it's not visible, but in my project I have a light, and if I go to light mix, that light was called Corona light. So look, first of all, I can choose to turn on and off my self illuminated material. How cool is that? That you can choose afterward. And you can also increase its brightness. Wow. Fantastic. Or you can put it back to 1, for example. Can you see that this shadow is given by that weak lamp that is in front of it? You can just decheck and you turn off completely that light, or you turn it on and you can still change light amount to see the effect. You can change the color of light. And this will be by having that light set to be blue. The environment doesn't change anything because the environment will work when you have also the Corona sun light. So you can choose the amount of light given by the dome, that is the environment, or by the sun, that is the directional light. And in this way, this is how Corona works mainly. Okay, there is also sharpening and blur. You can sharpen the amount, so you have a very sharp final image. But this is the way to have unbelievably crazy, sharp, realistic, cool looking final renderings with Corona. Okay? Was that clear? Tell me something, because for today I think I've explained a lot of amazing, beautiful secrets. So now it is your turn to finish your final presentations, and it is time now to upload your files into the drive. You're welcome, first of all. Okay? You have time till next Wednesday. Do not invent any excuse like, Marco, my computer crashed, because it is something that honestly I won't believe. You have no idea. I can show you my email messages, but it happens. I teach in this school See, there are 8 years that I teach in this school, and you have no idea. I could write a book. I could write a book by telling you how many computers have mysterious behaviors just last week of the semester. I received messages like, Marco, I'm so sorry. I can have 1 week more extension because my computer got corrupted. I had to reinstall Windows. I have lost all my files. I have to start all over again. No? Now, so maybe you have the computer since 3 years and just this week it got corrupted. Look, coincidence in life. Honestly, when I receive a message like this, in general, I don't believe, and I don't trust anyone telling me these kind of things. So, just to let you know, finish your stuff, upload it, I will check it, and it has to be amazing. Okay? Was it clear? Was it crystal clear? Let me know. Cause if this was clear, this is time to go and prepare lunch. Okay? Perfect! I'm so proud of all of you. So, have fun during this week with 3ds Max. And thank you too for being my students as well. I mean, I hope you think about making another year at least so that we can learn a lot more things together. This is just to make a little bit of should be I mean, while I'm telling you this, should be something happening here like hashtag add. So think about making another year at school. Have a great summer too. And again, if you don't find videos in this channel, go to my own YouTube channel that I copied before, I think. Yes. Copy link, and it was this one. And check it sometimes, because I don't know what the school will tell me to do with these videos. I would like not to lose them, but if just in case, I will try to re-record them. Shorter, of course, without the chat and interaction, so that maybe would be easier to follow. Okay, so for now, bye everyone. It has been great. I can't wait to see what you will upload as final presentation. Okay, bye everyone. I stopping 3, 2